It doesn't matter how well you sugarcoat it, the film industry, TV, entertainment as a whole is in dire straits. When did the rot set in? Well, for the film industry, probably a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Okay, you can't blame all of Hollywood's problems on it, but I think we're all in agreement that Star Wars The Force Awakens will go down in history as the catalyst of Tinseltown's downfall.
I shouldn't have gone in there.
Or maybe it was the day that George signed over the rights to Disney and took the photo that says 1,000 words. I mean, look at him, his face says more than words ever could.
Charles, giveaway. Charles, thank you very much. Giveaway.
Fast forward through COVID, the strikes and the death of all of our favourite franchises, characters, and our collective will to live. Hollywood is in the toilet. It's on its knees. So I was shocked to read and watch this interview on the BBC. Tim Richards spoke to the Big Boss interview podcast. And don't worry, I'd never heard of it either. But Tim is the founder and chief exec of Vue International, which is one of the biggest chains of cinemas in the UK. I'm not going to read the whole article, but to summarise, most of the interview, basically Tim talks about how the studios tried to circumvent cinema during the pandemic, and he's now claiming that the studios realised they need the cinemas in order to survive, and this bit really opened my eyes. Vue made a pre-tax loss of 91.8 million in the 12 months to the 30th of November 2024 compared with the year prior, and said that a decrease in revenue was principally driven by lower admissions. Well, yes, because people are no longer going to the cinema. And as the Beeb go on to say, globally, the cinema industry has been seeing change, with big names such as Cineworld suffering. It filed for bankruptcy in the US in 2022 and in 2024 went into administration in the UK. Since then, it's implemented restructuring of its debt and closing some of its branches to help it along. Now, this is nothing new. I mean, we all know this. We all lived through COVID. We remember the lockdowns, I'm sure. I mean, I hated it. The propaganda, the bullshit, not being able to go outside. I mean, I know countless people who lost careers, livelihoods, relationships. It was horrible. It was just horrible. But Richards is unfazed. Vue returned to pre-pandemic trading levels this year and is expecting next summer to be the company's biggest ever. Really? He's emphatic that there will always be an appetite for the big screen. During the pandemic, there was an increase with subscription services because people had no choice, but that has not continued. I mean, yeah, that's certainly true. I mean, we literally had no alternative, so people went to Netflix, Disney Plus, and the like en masse. But what he's not talking about are the sort of societal trends that were setting in even before COVID hit. I mean, I was a musician before the pandemic, and even back then we were talking about how venues are under threat because Gen Z was less outgoing than previous generations. And in my experience, I don't think that's changed for the better. He's also not talking about just the absolute fatigue and apathy that we as audience members are feeling towards Hollywood and its political messaging at the minute. I mean, people are sick of the preachiness, the out-of-date nonsense that the studios keep ramming down our throats. I mean, not to mention the absolute lack of talent in front of and behind the lens. There's no fight in Hollywood these days. There's no will to compete. There's a complete callousness, even a hatred of the audience, and we can all feel that when we watch the kind of dross that they've been bringing out in the last 5 years. And so to me, it doesn't matter where people can watch films. The biggest issue that the film industry has is, will people bother to watch them? After all, who wants more of the same right now? I mean, not to mention what AI is going to do in every walk of our lives, I mean, let alone film. I've never looked at what happens in the home as being competition. Our biggest, most frequent customers are Netflix subscribers or Disney Plus subscribers. People who love movies in all formats. Well, yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, the cinemas always had to deal with VHS, DVD sales. And so, yeah, if you look at it like that, I can see his point. But that VHS, DVDs world was a completely different time and place, wasn't it? It didn't have the dominance of social media over our attention spans. It was a less divided world and less polarized as a result. And I think he touches on it later on. But of course, the cost of living crisis, which is affecting all of us at the minute, is a huge part of the puzzle for businesses from all industries and all walks of life. And I mean, that crisis, which we're all feeling, is just a barrier to simply going to the cinema as well, isn't it? The Hollywood strikes too, he says, were a supply issue, not a demand one. We never had a demand issue. Well, it's both, isn't it? I mean, the supply of films wasn't there, fair. But what were people demanding? I mean, I'd agree that the demand for great films hasn't gone anywhere. But the problem is that the industry, as I've just alluded to, has been beating us over the head with terrible films for so long now that who wants to go and see the kind of dross that Hollywood has to offer? And now that remakes and reboots are all that the studios are willing to give because they're clearly out of ideas and they don't want to take the risk on something new, they're not going to be able to deliver the demand for compelling films as well. Due to cost of living pressures persisting, many parts of the entertainment industry are seeing revenue slow down as people cut back on discretionary spending. Added to this are the rising operational costs, an increase to the minimum wage, and a higher employer national insurance contribution. Yeah, I mean, Labour are killing enterprise, business, with their ridiculous levels of tax, and that is inevitably going to be passed on more and more to the consumer, me and you. And so less people will go out as a result, and so more and more people will get laid off because the businesses don't have that revenue. And obviously that's going to happen as a result of increased operational costs and cost of living and everything. It's a circle of shit that's just going to get worse. And even more so now with the next budget around the corner. Strap in. We've done our very, very best not to pass on the cost to our customers, Richard said, and we haven't. And we've taken a small hit as a consequence, but we're hoping that the volume which we've seen as a consequence will follow it. Well, I'd be interested to hear more about how he's not passed on the cost, because I went to a Vue cinema earlier this year, and my only trip to the cinema since COVID, I think, and I remember it costing me well over 50 quid for 2 tickets, some popcorn and a drink. It was a rip-off. So still, he says, the entertainment industry has been squeezed and kind of attacked in some instances. Government decisions have hurt the people they're trying to help, in his view. What's the industry's message ahead of the upcoming budget? Please don't touch us again, which of course it is. I mean, it is what it is. If Labour keep punishing businesses like this, they'll lower the taxable population and increase government spending as a result of people needing benefits. But whatever. But it's not a case of teenagers and young adults sitting at home instead of going out. They're a lot more social than previous generations, and that has shown in our attendance with a lot of our movies, he says. Well, I don't know where he's getting that from, and I'd love to see his data because, as I said earlier, Gen Z, by and large, isn't more outgoing. Not in my experience. And, you know, it wasn't too long ago that they were being touted as the generation that doesn't go to work and they're all unemployed. I mean, they're probably less likely to have disposable income if they are unemployed, or with their age range, they would tend to mean that they're on lower paid jobs. Are they not? And let's face it, I mean, the social problems in this country at the minute are going to push more and more people to stay at home anyway and just avoid any kind of risk at all to their money and to themselves.
At the end of this year, we've got 2 incredible movies coming out with Wicked and Avatar. And I think when the history books are written 20 years from now, we will look back at this point in time as being that point of demarcation between kind of the old and the new, and really the beginning of a new generation of film going.
I love the optimism here. I really do. And I genuinely hope he's right. I really do, because who doesn't want entertainment, music, film, TV shows to be great again? Life is made lesser without great art. I mean, I really want to be able to go to the cinema and watch great cinema again. I want to go on those adventures that we went on when we were kids, when the world was less dark and people were less at each other's throats. I genuinely want to return to good cinema. But, and it's a massive but, you can put in reclining seats, give us extra leg space, online ticket discounts, that kind of thing. You can talk with a sweet tooth about how great the future looks, but it won't matter if Hollywood keeps churning out the same reheated nonsense that it's been churning out for years now. And until Hollywood gets its act together, until it stops insulting us, the audience, until it can compete with ChatGPT and not just rely on it, in my opinion, film, and therefore cinema, cannot be saved with optimism alone. And if the studios want my money, they'll have to earn it again. Until then, cinema is dead. And we all know who killed it. I'll leave a link to the article below. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.